Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Saturday. This is Javier with The Real Javier Novoa, a channel, a platform, and a modality where we apply the principles of philosophy, spirituality, mysticism, and business, and good planning to rapid lifestyle transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been enjoying my Saturday. I've been doing some contemplation, some brainstorming. I've been watching videos from some subscribers. We now have very high-performing, high-level subscribers that have themselves upwards of 20 to 100,000 subscribers. We're working on that as well. We're getting there. But I was watching some investment videos. I was watching some of the advice of one of our more famous subscribers. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited that this material is resonating with very successful people with high track records of success, indeed teachers. And they're resonating with this material because they know that at the end of the day, all of the great coaches will tell you, at the end of the day, it is a very high Pareto principle correlation between mindset and success. And what I mean is that mindset makes up about 90% of the success. Because if you have the mindset, even we're putting the law of assumption, law of attraction aside, and we're putting any mysticism aside, this is just provable, measurable scientifically and in the social sciences. High mindset usually carries people across the finish line, ladies and gentlemen. If it's sustained, and indeed, for it to be sustained, it has to be sustainable. And how do we make it sustainable? We make it sustainable by generating early wins. And great people in performance science, people such as Tim Ferriss and others, have talked about this, that in order to keep momentum going for something, be it a mindset, be it a inspiration, or be it an intention or a goal, you have to have early wins. And it's this science of pragmatic application of law of assumption and philosophy that always gives you early wins. It always gives you signs. And that's why, or rather that's one of the reasons why you don't have to believe for it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you will just implement the process that we're giving to you here, you don't have to believe for or buy the whole law of assumption enchilada, so to speak. Rather, you just plug in the principles, and then you see it work, and then you can't not believe it. I hope you understand me just a little bit here, and that's one of the reasons why we're getting so many subscribers who are very high performers in the world of business and in the world of investing. But before I really get into the nitty-gritty of this video, ladies and gentlemen, I want to invite you, as always, if you find value in these materials, if you watch our videos, or if it's your first time watching, I'd encourage you to hit the subscribe button below. Because not only will you be joining a community of master manifestors, as well as getting alerts to all of our videos, you'll also be helping us get the word out. And supposedly, the more subscribers that we have, the more exposure this will get from the algorithm. So we appreciate your help in that, and I will give you a moment to subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't really have a theme. I'm really just in a sort of contemplative mode, a relaxed mode, a meditative mode, but a mode of sort of chewing over the principles, and indeed the first principles. So I didn't really have a topic today, but then I read 3 emails from subscribers who had questions, and they all had the same general tenor. And that tenor was, ladies and gentlemen, they've been really inspired to start implementing this strategic planning modality that we've been going into for the last few weeks. And if you have not, I'd encourage you to watch the last, say, 10 videos, because we go very deeply into strategic planning. And that's basically going to be our theme for the rest of the month, ladies and gentlemen. Strategic planning, and how basically to fuse the right brain and the left brain for a power punch to all of your projects and all of your intentions. But they got inspired to start doing this. But all three of them spoke about when they began to take this fully to heart and to start the planning process, the strategic planning process, the world pushed back, or rather, this film roll pushed back. And not only did they not get a manifestation, we're talking about here in the first few days, but rather they got signs of the opposite of that. And they were asking me, Javier, does that vitiate this process? Does that mean what you're saying is not true? And no, no, and no again. In fact, this is a very common occurrence. And all of the great spiritual teachers, chief among them Bashar, who's channeled by Darryl Anka, talk about this. And they talk about this, it's sort of like a boomerang effect. And you see, this boomerang effect occurs for the very simple reason that you're, at least in the beginning stages, either consciously or subconsciously, you're pushing against the vibration that's been going one way. And of course, as you push against it, it will backfire. You don't have to do that. And later on, probably in the video, we're going to show you ways to avoid this altogether. But for most people, especially for beginning practitioners of this modality, of this methodology, they get this boomerang effect. And when you do, it's essential that you see this not as a sign of failure, but as a sign of your success, as a sign that is coming in the physical, in the 3D. As we know, it's not coming because, first of all, it can't come on this film roll. You have to switch film rolls, and you do that by focus. But more importantly, you already are it, because there's no separation, as we went into in the beginning of this channel on our scale of being, where you are divinity and you are one with the whole. So there's really no separation. Once you understand that, whatever happens on the outer doesn't make a damn difference to you. But as you're sort of getting your sea legs, so to speak, in this, as you're sort of learning your balance, this will have an effect. So what can we do? Remember, as Abraham Hicks says, whenever there's a problem, a more clear solution is automatically attached to that. I hope you understand what we mean here. Whenever a problem presents itself, automatically, due to the law of opposites, there is in some plane on some film roll an exactly equal provision or solution for that. And you can go to that solution right now. We're going to show you how, actually, in this video. It's very simple, and you can do it. And why can you do it? Because hypnotism exists, and there are scientific evidences for this. It exists, ladies and gentlemen. It's practiced in government and athletics, even in weight loss, in disparate disciplines. You can, quote-unquote, hypnotize yourself. It's not very difficult to do. You can get there. And when you are there, the 3D situation, what we call in this channel context, must materialize. So, even apart and aside from that, just knowing this fact, whenever you run into a problem, whenever you run into the opposite signal or sign of what you're pursuing in the 3D, just say, great, here's a reminder of what I do want. And then go straight to what you do want in your imagination. Great spiritual teachers, and I believe that this was in the Course in Miracles, call it toggling. You can toggle different realities. That's right. You can toggle different film rolls. I want you to try this right now. You can just close your eyes. And you're sitting in your room right now, right? Now I want you to picture yourself sitting in a beautiful, ornate house that you'd love to live in, a house of a very wealthy person, a room of a very wealthy person with beautiful paint on the walls. Perhaps it's a state room. Perhaps you can see a spacious room around you and a very high ceiling with a chandelier. Now be in that. Now come back to the room you're in. Now go back to that mansion. Now come back to the room you're in. You see, you can toggle that. And as you toggle that, the feelings become different. And you can do this in an instant. The more you practice this, the more you can be there in an instant. So whenever a situation comes to you that's contrary to the intention that you're pursuing, simply toggle that. Say, great, here's a reminder of what I truly am and what I'm truly not. And then feel the feelings of being not it. Feel the negative emotion, feel it fully and let it go through you, of having negative information, of having some sort of sign against that desire. And say, okay, now what would it feel like if I had the exact opposite of this? And actually picture yourself being the exact opposite of this. So you are envisioning a job. You're getting into the state of a new job, let's just say. Even though on this channel we're trying to get you free from a job, but let's say this is a very high-level job. But then you got a letter after an interview that said, no, you've not been chosen for this position. Well, that's fine. So feel that. And then imagine yourself being chosen for that position. Imagine yourself reading the letter saying, you know what, you've been chosen for this position, and we're going to start you at an even higher salary than we thought about. And then feel that. And then go back to this reality and feel this, and then feel that. Realize that you have complete control over which film role you live in at any given time. This is toggling film roles. And Abraham Hicks also has a technique called pivoting, where you can pivot between where you are now and where you want to be. It's a very effective technique, ladies and gentlemen. That's the best technique to use for these situations. And as, of course, the great Bashar says, he said, whenever you have an intention and whenever you get into the state of that, reality will push back against you and show you the opposite of that. It is as if it is asking you, are you really serious about this? Do you really want it? What most people do is they see the opposing sign, and then they say, no, I don't want it, and they give up and they continue living in the current film role, and they forget about getting into the state of the next film role. But that's not you. What you're going to do is you're going to use this as a trigger to get back into state as quickly as possible. And you're going to tell the universe, thank you for giving me that alternative. Thank you for clarifying this for me. But yes, I do want it, and I'm going to it now, and I am that. And just go to it now. It's easier said than done, because I know you can't just immediately deny your senses, and nor would we ask you to do that. But the more you practice this, the better you will get at putting yourself where you want to be, regardless of the 3D circumstances. Because the 3D circumstances, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, as we know from physics, it is 0.0000001% of everything that's happening around you. Even from a simply empirical, physical, materialist perspective. I'm in this room, okay? I can't even see the sky outside. I have an inkling that it's dark because it's nighttime, but I don't have certainty of that unless I actually open my window and look at that. I could also be in some sort of man-made dome. I don't know. I don't have empirical certainty. Of course, we take certain things for granted, as we should, because so that we can live a convenient life and so on and so forth. But I don't know what's going on except what is right in front of me. So why would I not, instead of simply accepting a context of a status quo, even if I didn't accept this whole law of assumption modality, why would I not create a context that I wanted to live in? Oh, this is a sign that I don't have what I want yet, but something's just around the corner because I know that I have it. It's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. And now, for more advanced manifestors, if you want to start doing this, you can bypass this boomerang effect completely. And how is that? It's very simple. Buy the pearl of great price. We've talked about this in other videos. And the pearl of great price is nothing but this. The divine is within your skull. Nothing that is evident to the senses is you. Anything that can be conceived or perceived by you is not you. Rather, it is the content of your consciousness. So know this, and therefore know that your consciousness and your focus is truly the only existence. Therefore, you can choose at any time what's real for you. And therefore, whatever happens on the outer, unless you accept it in as true, is not true. So then you can mold the 3D reality and mold the world into whatever you want it to be at any time. Therefore, the beginning level students and the beginning level manifestors, and we encourage them to do this, to test it, they will apply these principles in order to eventually get something on the outer. But you can bypass that. Forget about the outer, at least while you're in your process, and do the process simply for the enjoyment of it. So when you're doing this strategic planning process, whatever step you're in, do it for the simple joy of it, not expecting anything else from the process. And that's why we tell people in the beginning of this to just sit down and contemplate and don't care what comes up. And of course, ironically, when you do this, things start coming to you, signs start coming to you almost immediately, and there's no boomerang effect. If you're imagining or getting into the state of something, let that be enough. Don't do it so that you can get something on the outer. A lot of us, we're subconsciously still expecting something on the outer from these processes and practices and modalities. If you can give that up, if you can give up any process and buy the pearl of great price and accept the fact that you are the process, then, lo and behold, everything runs very smoothly and there's no boomerang effect. But if you have the boomerang effect, it's no problem because you still are the pearl of great price and you have the pearl of great price. All you need to do is pivot, get into the reality that you want, and I promise you the outer circumstances of your situation will change quicker than you thought possible. But have that in the back of your mind, not in the front of your mind. So ladies and gentlemen, surpassing the boomerang effect, walk in faith, walk in knowing, implement the steps whether you believe them or not, and your life is going to take off like it never has before. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing coaching calls. They're really taking off. I will guide you through this step by step. You don't have to do it alone. You can do it alone because you're one with the divine, but you don't have to do it alone. We can co-create together, and I can give you processes tailored to your personality based on my years of experience in business and consulting and in studying these modalities. And we will make more progress in your life towards your rapid lifestyle transformation, towards getting you free from the prison grid, from a job and a boss. We do make more progress in weeks than many people make in years. So, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for the comments. Thanks for your email questions. Thanks for the questions in the comments. It always gives me great material so that I can craft and focus this material in ways that will be most beneficial to the subscribers. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you tomorrow. We have a lot more videos coming up about the strategic planning process. You don't want to miss it. So, until very soon, with great love and appreciation, this is Javier signing off.